Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Right, we are ready to go. Our teacher for this week is Anita Murjani. And I have a lengthy piece from her to read to you today, so I'm going to get started right away. Here we go. We see the world through the lens of how we view ourselves. In fact, you can test this by becoming aware of how often your subconscious asks the question, what does this say about me? Have you ever had a moment where you realize that for almost everything that happens, your subconscious tries to check this box. What does this say about me? How does this make me look? When you're trying to park the car and you accidentally bump the curb, or when a cashier disrespects you, when your child throws a tantrum in public, when you lose a business deal, a scared part of our subconscious can't help but look around and wonder if anyone else saw this fail and ask, what does this say about me? Sunmarie, good morning. Hello. Awesome seeing you. This view of ourselves is the lens through which we evaluate the reactions from the people around us too. But when we upgrade the way we see ourselves, then we upgrade the way we see the people around us as well. Beatrix, good morning. Catherine, good morning. Hello, beautiful humans. When Anita Murjani had her near-death experience and was looking down at her own body on that hospital bed, for a moment she lost the old lens through which she's always viewed herself. Immersed in a sea of love, she was able to see herself in a way that she never had access to before. So I'll read this piece. This is the way she speaks about that. She says, as I looked at the great tapestry that was the accumulation of my life up to that point, I was able to identify exactly what had brought me to where I was today. Just look at my life path. Why, oh why, have I always been so harsh with myself? Why was I always beating myself up? Why was I always forsaking myself? Why did I never stand up for myself and show the world the beauty of my own soul? Why was I always suppressing my own intelligence and creativity to please others? I betrayed myself every time I said yes when I meant no. Why have I violated myself by always needing to seek approval from others just to be myself? Why haven't I followed my own beautiful heart and spoken my own truth? Why don't we realize this when we are in our physical bodies? How come I never knew that we're not supposed to be so tough on ourselves? I still felt myself completely enveloped in a sea of unconditional love and acceptance. I was able to look at myself with fresh eyes, and I saw that I was a beautiful being of the universe. I understood that just the fact that I existed made me worthy of this tender regard. I can't say this strongly enough, but our feelings about ourselves are actually the most important barometer for determining the condition of our lives. I think it's a beautiful piece and a beautiful piece of insight in what happens when the old lens that we see ourselves through fall away. Tracy, a very good morning. Annalie, good morning. Dylan, good morning. Awesome seeing you here. Right, just a few more thoughts from Anita before we get started. She says, loving yourself means being your own best friend, standing by yourself at all times, including times of failure, being there for yourself no matter what. She says, love yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. When you're good to yourself, you're actually being good to everyone around you, because when you feel good, you'll react well to other people. At the same time, it's very easy for you to do things for other people when you know that other people are just an extension of yourself. Transform your world by transforming your inner state Start by learning to let go of negative self-judgment and replace it with positive and loving thoughts about yourself. Be kind to yourself and watch your external world change too. If we want to change the way we see ourselves and live in the energy of love, we need to be able to open our arms to every part of ourselves. Yes, even the worst parts need a soft place to rest. Last thought from Anita Moorjani says, when you can completely love your ego unconditionally and accept it as part of how you express in this life, then you'll no longer have a problem with it. It won't impede your growth. On the contrary, it will be an asset. Anami, good morning. Hello, great to see you. There lives inside of you both a fearless creator and also a scared human. You can choose to be the fearless creator, but if you reject the scared human, its fear will constantly reach for your ankles and yank you back down. If you try to reject any part of yourself, you're simply increasing the fear in your system. If you push away the parts of you that are scared, their voices only grow louder. It is when you accept, allow, and even love all parts of you that the fear in your system settles down. And every time that the scared human becomes calm, you will naturally embody the fearless creator that you are. So if you're ready, let's go on that journey today. Today's meditation is called A Sense of Self, in which we try and be really conscious about opening our arms to every part of ourselves and giving them time to be seen and heard and held. You can close your eyes and let's float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, Soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. While you continue your full body breathing, rising with every inhale and feeling your body fall with every exhale. Our meditation journey today invites a few of our inner children to come and sit with us. In today's journey, the example that I'll use is sadness and anger and fear. You may use any other examples that might be more practical to you, or just come along for this journey and invite your own sadness, your own anger, your own fear to come and sit with us. In my mind, it always looks like a grade 1 teacher inviting the kids to come and sit on the carpet with her. An invitation to a conversation. Perhaps something like story time, but I'm also going to ask you to tell your story. I want to listen to what you have to say too. So while you continue your full body breathing, rising with every inhale, and feeling your body fall with every exhale, invite these inner children to breathe along with you. Let them know I am here to listen. Let them know I am here to understand. I might say this a few more times. It's very helpful to be open to seeing what they look like. What does sadness look like? If it was an inner child within you. What does anger, the angry part of you, look like? What does fear, the scared part of you, look like? It's not important that you get a clear picture of what this part of you looks like. It's just very helpful to be open to having a visual representation. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch and adjust and settle down into as much comfort as possible. And again, we're asking these inner children to stretch along with us. Take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, forward and to the right. In big half circles. Loosening up your neck muscles. Take a deep breath in. And as you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. And also lean your upper body over to the right. See if you can drop your left ear closer to your left hip. And then bring your right ear closer to your right hip. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or remove or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as present as we can find ourselves being right now, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a really good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, then with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. Feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. As you release, Feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, I want to remind you of these three inner children that we have invited today. The examples I'm using are sadness, part of you that sometimes feels sad; anger, part of you that sometimes feels angry; and fear, part of you that sometimes feels scared. Open yourself to seeing them sit with you. Take your next big breath. Our first conversation is with sadness. We are inviting sadness to speak. So as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of how you feel when sadness plays a big role in your thoughts and your emotions. Remind yourself of the kind of thoughts you think when you feel sad. Notice how there is a recording of sadness playing when you experience this emotion. Notice how it tends to be the same conversation, the same narrative that plays on repeat when you feel sad. For the moment, just listen to that recording. Listen to the voice of sadness remind you of how it sometimes feels. Take your next big breath. Now turn towards that part of you, turn towards sadness, and ask sadness a question. Can you ask the question and also let the question go? Not search for an answer, but kind of be curious about how would sadness answer this question. And just listen once again. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards sadness and say, sadness, in those moments when you feel so sad, what is it that you are afraid will happen? What is it that you are afraid will happen? Take your next big breath. Take a moment to thank sadness for showing up, for being seen, for being heard. We understand that it takes courage. We'll turn our attention now towards anger, the part of you that sometimes feels really angry. And as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, we are asking anger to remind us of how it sometimes feels. Pay specific attention to the repetitive nature of that narrative, the recording that plays again and again and again when anger is how you feel. For this moment, just listen to that recording again. Just allow anger to remind you. Take your next big breath. And turn towards anger and ask anger this question. Can you ask the question and not try and search for an answer? Can you ask the question and just be curious about how would anger answer this question? So turn towards anger and say, anger, in those moments where you feel so angry, you're trying to prevent something. You're wishing that something was different, or you're trying to prevent a bad thing from happening. So anger, what is the bad thing that you're trying to prevent happening? Take your next big breath. Take a moment to thank anger for showing up, for being seen, for being heard. We understand that it's a brave thing to do. And then we'll turn our attention to fear. The part of you that sometimes feels scared. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, we are asking fear to speak. Notice the repetitive nature of that fear narrative that tends to say more or less the same thing every time it feels scared. For the moment, just listen and be reminded of how the voice of fear speaks in you. Take your next big breath. Then turn towards fear and ask fear this question. Can you ask the question without trying to search for the answer though? Can you ask the question and just be curious about how would fear answer this question? So as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, turn towards fear and say, fear, in those moments when you feel so scared, what is it that you really want for me? What is your deep desire for me? Take your next big breath. Thank fear for being seen, being heard. We understand how scary that might be. Thank you for being brave. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together. And as we do, have those inner children be or sit wherever they want to be. Would they like to all sit on your lap, get on your back, or go play wherever they want to be? Let's take these few big breaths together. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips into your body and how softness settles in every cell of your body. One more big breath in and hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. And there is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. The last quote from Anita Murjani that I read this morning was, "When you can completely love your ego unconditionally and accept it as a part of how you express in this life, then you'll no longer have a problem with it. It won't impede your growth. On the contrary, it will be an asset." We could replace the word ego with, just any part of you. If you are able to create a space and have acceptance and love for every part of you, ego, sadness, anger, fear, whatever label we want to put on it, if you can hold a space for that part of you to feel whatever it feels, and almost stand guard over it for a while it feels what it feels. And the question is, who is the you that is standing guard? If you're able to listen to sadness speak, if you're able to ask sadness a question and hear its answer, who are you being while you're listening and seeing and holding? In this moment, you're not being sadness, you're not being anger, and you're not being fear. But you're being the part of you that understands why, that gets it, why sadness is feeling sad. I understand that. That gets that anger is trying to fight for you and fix something that's wrong on your behalf. I get it, I see you, anger. You're being the part of you that can listen to fear and understand that fear has a deep desire for something to be different. When you're being this part of you, the part of you that can listen and see and hold and understand, then you're being the strongest part of you. We could put many different labels on that. You've stepped into your soul, your higher self, into your wisdom. You're standing in the divine itself. Whatever labels we want to put on that, the more you practice being this part of you, the easier it will become to act as this part of you, to live as the expression of your soul. But every time you get involved in a fight with your ego, in a fight with any other part of you, then you become that. It's an old wisdom that says we always become what we fight. One or two more thoughts from Anita Moorjani. Transform your world by transforming your internal state. Start by learning to let go of judgment of yourself and replace it with positive and loving thoughts about yourself. Be kind to yourself and watch your external world change. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say your own. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for a moment to allow our inner children to be seen and heard and held. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to just not get involved in a fight with anything inside of me. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to hold a space for anything that calls within me to be heard and seen and held. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to step into that part of me, the strongest part of me, the part of me that has arms strong enough to hold all of this. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Everything we practice, we become better at. When we keep practicing going head to head and fighting the worst parts of ourselves, then we become better at that fight. We become better at the judgment, the criticism. Everything we practice, we get better at. When you practice creating a space where every part of you can be heard and seen and held, and you're practicing stepping into that part of you, the part of you that can do the holding. You don't have to worry then too much about what these parts of you are, whether it's sadness or anger or fear, or it's not too important to get involved with that. It's only important to become more involved with your soul. Because every time we practice this, we get up from here and we be the embodiment of our soul. Have a beautiful day, beautiful humans. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Manuela. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Sunmari. Thank you, Anami. Have a beautiful day. I hope you feel your connection to that part of you. I hope when you get up from this meditation, you take every next step as your soul. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.